Hello and welcome to AutoSave. My name is Nick Andrade and I'm here with my co-host Camille Salazar Hadaway, and today we are continuing our journey through Jedi Fallen Order. And as always, before we get into today's episode, last week,
I will join you.
You will?
I've spent years waiting for a chance to avenge my sisters. I'm finished waiting. I wish to fight by your side. Night Sisters and Jedi do not travel together, but survivors, we adapt.
So we defeated Malicos, someone that Cam does not like very much, because again, we kind of didn't really get any character development with Malicos, but we destroyed him, and then we managed to get the nice sister Marin on our side, who joined our team, and she wants to help finish our mission, and most importantly, we found the Astrium, Cam.
Yes.
That opens up the Zeffo tomb, the sacred vault, to find the Jedi holocron on hopefully Bogano, barring any situation. But it seems like we're finally getting close to getting what we have been on this entire journey for.
You know, like those murder mysteries where they have like the board, or like the mysteries. Why did I go to murder mysteries? Where they just have the board with the red string and you're pinning all these things. That's how I feel like we've been doing in this later part of the game. We're just pinning all these different locations and diverting off the path and just going here and there. And it's so relieving to now get to the last few pins in the mystery.
So I don't know about you. I mean, your career is in video games, so you kind of are always around this. But when I played video games recreationally, I didn't really think about it. But when you talk about these games again, and going through however many episodes that we have, I think we're like close to 100 or something like that. Do you think like there's a pattern here in a lot of the games we play, which is we need to find something, but something interrupts us from finding that thing, and then we have to find two more things to find that third thing. And here we are, where it's the Astrium that we've been looking for ages. Now we finally get that to unlock yet said other thing. It seems like it's a very reoccurring theme in a lot of video games.
I mean, if you break it down to like just the basics, isn't everything kind of like you need to find this to this to this to do the overarching task? Right. But I do feel like regularly they're incorporated more as like, hey, you can do this and go back to this planet, or you could continue on the path of like finding this list. Right. And to do that, you may have to do a little backtracking, but for the most part, you're moving forward. So I feel like that's very special for this game.
You go back to these planets, and then you get to unlock things with your new Jedi powers if you haven't already. So at least there are different things that you can do in this game going back to these said planets. But here we are. We're going to go back to Bogano today to hopefully find this Jedi holocron and the list of Force-sensitive kids. But first, the question of the day. And this one is a doozy, because this is a relatively light episode. The mission is shorter than normal, so I'm going to give you a long question of the day. Okay. Which is, rank all the Star Wars movies. Now, before you do...
Nick! What kind of question is that? Let me get out a pen and paper.
Before we do, I just want to mention these are the theatrical like release films. Like I understand that there's the Clone Wars and there's the Clone Wars movies, and I'm not going into the TV shows. That could be for another day. If you want to use that as question of the day, episode 10, it's all yours.
Thank you for doing my homework for me.
We're not going to go through the animated movies. This is strictly kind of those theatrical actor movies. And I have my list ready for you. Do you want me to name mine first?
You go first.
Okay.
You go first.
And please, like, question me on this list after I answer, okay? So, number 1 is Empire Strikes Back. Number 2, Return of the Jedi. Number 3, A New Hope. Number 4, Force Awakens. Number 5, Revenge of the Sith. Number 6, Rogue One. Number 7, Last Jedi. Number 8, Phantom Menace. Number 9, Solo. Number 10, Attack of the Clones. And number 11, Rise of Skywalker. I know there's some controversial takes in there, but what do you think of this list?
I mean, I think you really hit the nail on the hammer with the Emperor Strikes Back.
It's got to be, right? It has to be.
That is just the classic. However, Nick,
Ooh.
like, I know A New Hope, yeah. Return of the Jedi. I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this is so hard. The Return of the Jedi, yeah, that's pretty good too. But honestly, I love Ewan McGregor. I would put Revenge of the Sith right under Empire Strikes Back.
What?
Yeah.
I'm going to take my mic out for this.
What? What? I mean, it is so highly quoted, despite Hayden Christensen's, or maybe it would be Attack of. Oh,
but before
why is Attack of the Clones so low for you?
Wait. Before you get onto your list, like, what are the ones that annoy you or piss you off of where I have them?
I guess like Revenge of the Sith. I feel like obviously should be higher,
right? Because it's number 2 for you.
Yeah, Rogue One's good. Phantom Menace, just because the amount of hate that Jar Jar Binks has, you should have just bumped that up a little bit. That ain't fair.
I couldn't.
That ain't fair. That ain't fair.
As much as I hate The Last Jedi, and I will tell you, I hate it, it is still a good movie as itself. It's an enjoyable movie. However, The Phantom Menace is like, and you know why Attack of the Clones is so low? It's second last. Because everyone says Phantom Menace is worse than Attack of the Clones. But for me, Attack of the Clones is the most boring Star Wars movie ever.
Why?
It's so boring. The scenes with Padme and Anakin are so cringe.
Okay, fair.
The sand scene, this course and whatever. And then when he tells Padme about killing all the sand people, and she's like, "All right, cool. You still want to marry?" It's like, what? Excuse me? Get out of here. Anyway.
Okay, that's fair. Force Awakens. Oh, wait, was Rise of Skywalker? Oh yeah. That's okay.
Yes,
that's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Is it deserving of the bottom? I think it is, right?
Yeah,
I think so.
I think so as well. Like for me, yeah, I love a New Hope. It's just that movie that it was that thing that got everyone attached to Star Wars, right? So it has that novelty of it. But you look back and you watch that movie, I feel like it still doesn't hit for me as hard as it should as hard as when you first watched it. Like, I still think there's better Star Wars out there than it to be on your third place.
What was the first Star Wars movie that you saw?
A New Hope.
You did see A New Hope first, so it didn't have that profound effect on you.
No.
Okay.
It was cool because, so my dad really got me into like all this stuff, into sci-fi and stuff. So he made me watch A New Hope first.
Right.
So that was the movie. But I think because I grew up with like the prequels, they do rank a little higher for me. So that's pretty bad though. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would definitely say Revenge of the Sith. Maybe not Okay, here's my list, okay?
Okay.
This is what we're doing.
Here we go.
My list. My time. Emperor Strikes Back, number 1. Okay.
Okay.
Then I would go with Return of the Jedi.
Oh, not Revenge of the Sith?
I know. I just switched it. I'm going to put Revenge of the Sith third.
Okay.
I would actually even put Rogue One. I think Rogue One would be my next one.
Wow. Okay.
Rogue One was really well done.
Mm-hmm.
Then we will have... Oh, this is hard because I'm not writing it. Then we will have... Man, this is... Nick, what kind of question of the day is this? This is like question of the decade.
Week. Yeah, decade.
You know what? I'm going to put Clone Wars.
Or Attack of the Clones?
I mean, sorry, Attack of the Clones. I'm gonna no, I'm not. That's horrible. I'm gonna put Phantom Menace. I'm gonna give Jar Jar Binks some love. It wasn't that bad. People are overreacting. Okay.
Oh my god.
No. I'm gonna put Force Awakens first, then Phantom Menace.
Okay. I hope whoever's listening write this down.
I am not
Or
writing this
record it
down,
for
so
us.
I apologize for the repeats. Yeah, Force Awakens, then Phantom Menace. I would say I'm gonna get there. I won't jump. Last Jedi. Yeah, Last Jedi.
Okay.
Then I'll put Attack of the Clones.
You're clearly not like
A New Hope.
This is hard for you. A New
This
Hope
is really
that
hard.
far down?
Yeah, it just doesn't hit. It doesn't hit.
Barf and a half.
Solo is. I would even put Rise of Skywalker before Solo, and that's my list.
Okay, well, Solo was
Return of the
Solo was
Jedi.
pretty
Yeah,
rough.
I did that. Yeah,
you
that's
did
in
Return
there.
of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Solo is pretty boring, I gotta say. So I agree
It was
with you on that.
horrible, and I was looking forward to that movie for so long. Just a disappointment.
I like your list. Other than A New Hope should not be that far down. That is a disgrace.
It's all right.
Unbelievable. Again, I'm such a Luke fan though. Those three have to be in the top three for me.
Yeah, and it
but
shows.
I really liked Force Awakens, and I was so on board with everything that they were going to lead up to, and then it just crushed my soul with Last Jedi.
And then they bonked it.
So I was on board. I didn't care. I didn't care that they kind of copied a bunch of stuff, whatever. They made new, fresh characters that I really liked. It is what it is.
I mean, they had to copy the old to get new fans on board, catch fans up, and get new fans on board. That's what they had to do. So,
Guess what, Cam, though? Guess what?
yes.
This show isn't about our Star Wars movies rankings.
Oh, yeah.
Although we had just done probably like 10 minutes on it. We are going back to Bogano on Jedi Fallen Order, our video game, not the movies, next after the break.
I'm sorry, am I interrupting?
No, Captain. And we couldn't have gotten this far without you.
Oh, well,
It's true, Grease.
thank you. Hey, I hope you get in there and you find that hollow thing.
Holocron.
Are you sure it's something you should find?
What do you mean?
The children on that list. If you take them from their homes to train as Jedi, won't they be hunted like you?
It has to be kept out of the hands of the Empire.
It'll help us put an end to the Empire.
Oh, hey, change of plans, we're arriving.
Oh, Grease.
Yeah?
I take my steak rare.
Huh? Okay, now we're cooking.
It's kind of cute how Grease is slightly scared of Marin, but also like happy that she's on board. But the main thing from this clip that we just heard is Marin brings up a point that I think we're all thinking, and I think maybe we mentioned before already, which is, will the children listed on the holocron be in danger of the Empire if we find them and try to train them up? That is something that I've been thinking about this entire game, which is we know about Vader, we know about the Emperor, we know about the Inquisitors hunting down Jedi. Is it really a good idea for them to try and rise up when they might get squashed by the Empire, especially what we know of this franchise and where it goes with Luke? You know, there still is no real Jedi, although we've seen them now popping up and cropping up in kind of the new Disney stuff. However, that's a fair question, is it a good idea?
It kind of opens our eyes if we haven't been thinking about it. I know we did mention it before, but if you haven't been thinking about it, it opens your eyes to this plan that they have to build the Jedi Order is not actually a full plan. It's an idea. It's an idea. You get these kids' names, you get the kids, and Jedi. Next generation Jedi in the next 10, 20 years, right? But how are you protecting them? Where are you going to take them? How are you going to get more kyber crystals to make all
true.
these? Like, so it's very interesting that we have the newbie to the crew, like bringing the sense. It's like, but what is the after of this. And also I want to highlight, because this is the whole thing with the Jedi, the kids are taken young. She does say, like, you take them from their families. We're taking these kids from their families for the greater good, essentially.
Are they going to agree with it, right? Do they want their child to go with Cal?
Or will the children resent Cal for taking these kids? And I don't think he'll take them by force, but if it's seen as like,
I hope not. That would make him a Sith Lord.
That'd make a change of pace. Fallen Order Part 2, but there's so many emotions. I feel like if you're being taken to train as a Jedi, especially as a Padawan, we saw that go through with Anakin in the movies, that he had all these temptations and like thoughts of like just want to be a kid and like enjoy your life. It's like I feel like they're not only building the Jedi Order, but also maybe the next generation of potential Sith Lords.
This is always about balance. Always about balance. On top of all of that, by the way, Marin is even smarter as well, and she says that Bogano seems like it has not been touched for centuries. Obviously, Cordova's been here before, maybe Cere has been here as well, but the Empire has not. Is it wise now to come here and come here so often when the Empire is after us? Because then it will bring the Empire here. These are all very valid points.
And it's especially valid because you and I both said Bogano is such a beautiful planet. What do we know when the Empire gets involved? Everything turns dark. It's all military. It's like maybe the game is trying to make us see the beauty of an untouched planet, a planet outside of the war, to just take it away. And then us really feel things that I may need a tissue for because it'd be really sad.
Maybe we're the bad guys because we're just dragging the Empire everywhere we go. Cere, however, definitely wants to train these children. That's been on her mind since the beginning. She wants this to happen. I think she reiterates it as well right before we head out on our journey. But this is a spot, Cam, where if you continue with the main story and you go to the Zeffo temple, you're pretty much done in terms of you're going through the rest of the main story. So this is relatively your last chance to go and do all the side stuff, all the crates you want to open, any force sensitive things that you might have missed. You can go to other planets if you want, try to finish and complete all of the planets to 100%. That's possible unless you're Cam, because I know Cam doesn't do any of that. She just goes straight down the path of the main story.
How do you know? You know me so well, Nick.
Again, if you want to, there are a bunch of on Bogano. Bogano probably has the most amount of crates as well. And let me just go through them quickly just to make sure that you have them or you have time to go get them. There's, of course, force pushing the giant ball that gets you a healing stim. Getting the crate behind all the fans, which I knew took me forever to find out to go behind the fan. Once you have your double jump, you can do that. Fighting some more bounty hunters as well. Maybe Bagong is there, which is Cam's favorite. And then that's also after you kill a giant monster. You can slide down a special area where there is an ancient burial site. You can get some echoes there as well. You can also find Cordova's sleeping quarters if you haven't already. That's also, if you haven't, you can get your dual-bladed lightsaber there as well. And then, of course, going back to where you first found Force Wall Run, you can actually go up that area this time and find a gold crate. And then there's also another droid, I believe, JDH3, that you can defeat as well. So there's lots to do in this game. It's not just the main story, although it does seem like it's a heavy part of it. There are different aspects that you can complete. And if you're a completionist like me or some other people, then it's definitely up your alley.
And I am not, so I continue with the game and the story.
Oh, there is one thing. Have you seen that sleeping dragon that's on the side?
Yes.
I was hoping that I could like fight it or something, but it just seems like you can't even get to that dragon. I just want to pet him.
It was there from before too. Because remember we saw that. Yeah, we were like, what is that? Okay, cool.
After all of that, though, if you're completed or not, you're going on to the main mission like Cam usually does. Head to the Zeffo vault. That's where we traveled to at the start of the game, where we met BD1. And as we approach, Cal says he can feel the astrium, as crazy as it sounds. And once you get to the center of the vault, you pop the astrium into the hole, and it moves almost like its own holocron. And that's what Cal actually says. And as we approach what looks like a mirror, it's, of course, our reflection.
I offer this record of our civilization to those who will follow. Despite our wisdom and technological achievement, we face extinction. Dogma blinded us to the path of balance, and gradually we allowed our pride to corrupt us. The greater control we sought, the further we fell into ruin. I lead the remnants of my people into the great unknown, hoping that we will finally find peace.
So we enter what seems like a dream world, similar to what Cal has seen before. When the Zeffo explained their story, they looked to the path of balance, but was corrupted. And the Zeffo sage kind of has remnants of saying that one day peace could be found. What did you think of this? It seems very almost like Halo / Mass Effect type, where it was an ancient civilization, or even like Assassin's Creed, where it's like an ancient civilization who basically became extinct because of something that happened or them trying to find something.
Definitely. I love this whole ancient civilization thing. I'm curious about dogma. The Zeffo, they mentioned like dogma a few times. So like it really just piques your curiosity. I know Cordova mentioned a few things about the Zeffo and what was important to them, but it's just great that we're now seeing it firsthand. It's also very eerie going through this because it's like there's like statues that are clay or stone or whatever, but it also looks like one of them may just like start moving and start attacking you or something like that. I'm scared of everything.
Oh, I know. And they're like all looking at you. It is an interesting, like, I would love to, like, if they ever expanded on the Zeffo story, I'd love to learn more. Or again, even in the sequel of this game, potentially. Maybe we learn more about the Zeffo moving forward, but we'll see.
Yeah.
After that, though, Cal sees a vision.
I shall teach them the ways of the Force.
Master Kestis.
We shall begin with physical preparation.
What is the Force?
Gather round, everyone.
Master Kestis, do you think the Empire will find us?
It's the Empire!
Master, shall we fight them? The Inquisitors have found us.
They're coming!
Protect yourself! To the trenches!
Keep going!
Capture the younglings. Kill the rest. Keep searching. They can't have gotten far. Target sighted.
Help me, Master Kestis!
Moving in. Spread out. There will be others. Yes, sir. You can't hide. Not you. Yeah!
There it is, pretty eerie. Cal basically starts to see a vision of if he were to train up the Force-sensitive kids from the holocron, bad things would happen. The Empire hunts all these kids down. You see them like attacking some stormtroopers and then they're dying. It all started off pretty nice where Cal's like, oh, Master Kestis, oh, Master Kestis, la la la. And then, oh, and now they're dead. It's basically like Order 66 all over again.
First, I was kind of confused. I'm like, wait, because you start off, like, you see this vision from afar and then you kind of get closer to it. I was like, wait, is this him as a kid? But the voice is of an adult. I'm like, wait, oh no, this is like a future vision, a Force future vision, because everything has to have Force in it. And is this all because Marin put that thought in his head of like, well, what would happen? Like, I'm very curious about this. Is this something that he's actually seeing the future or a potential future? Or is it manifestation of thoughts now that are going in his head because of what Marin said?
We haven't really talked about it before, so I don't think that was necessarily in his head before. He was really gung-ho on this idea. Cere was involved in the idea and wanted him to pursue it, and I don't think he ever considered it until now, and now he's coming face-to-face with if that decision didn't work, which is kind of scary. After that, we move along, and we come face-to-face with a vision. So we see what it would be like all the children being tortured, and even scarier, we see Cal is now what looks like he is part of the Empire. It looks like he's an Inquisitor. He's got a red lightsaber. What did you think of that? It must have been some sort of vision.
Yeah, I don't get that part because, like I said, I was a bit confused from the first vision if this is something like in the past or a potential future or is the future. Like, I don't know what the Zeffo temple actually does, right? Like, is this a premonition of some sort? So for him, where he was doubting himself, wasn't that confident and wanting to return to his Jedi roots, to now embracing that and like wholeheartedly trying to restore the Jedi Order. I don't understand what could go wrong if this is a potential future to make him become an Inquisitor.
I think what I can see is the kids become tortured, and maybe that tortures him. So then he starts to go down the path of the dark side, where then he thinks he's a failure. He thinks he failed those children. He has all those deaths on his hands. So that's when he starts to descend into the dark side. So that's my guess, at least.
That makes sense.
Yes. Or that maybe he turned the children over. That could be another future tense. And I understand, like, I'm not really sure what these visions are saying, but what I'm guessing is it's a vision of the future if you were to do said thing. So maybe that's trying to show him that it's not a good idea to get the Jedi holocron. I'm not really sure what the Zeffo are trying to teach him, but clearly they're trying to, I guess because they were always looking at the Zeffo, were always trying to find balance. They're trying to show the bad in the good. Like, Cal has this vision of doing good, but this is what could happen if it goes south. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't, because that was super weird seeing him in that outfit.
Cal then stands face to face with what his future could look like. It's basically him looking in the mirror again from the beginning, but this time he is in his Sith uniform, and he actually uses the Force to break the reflection, which is really cool. It also reminds me of a Last Jedi scene with Rey as well.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah. The one thing the movie gave us, a cool scene.
The one thing that Last Jedi gave us.
Yeah, no, The Last Jedi wasn't that bad. I will also add, because we just briefly talked about the movie, it does remind me of like this whole sequence of visions and walking through the Zeffo temple where it's very eerie is like The Force Awakens.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
When Rey's going through her vision, even with the reflection thing, that's like completely this.
All of this just seems like it's testing Cal in some sort of way. And is he passing this test? I don't know. But whatever it is, he seems a lot more calmer.
Yeah, he does. He's not freaking out or saying like, oh, why am I wearing an Inquisitor outfit? But I don't know if he's passing the test yet, because we're still seeing those visions of potential futures where things don't turn out right. It's hard to read.
Maybe he's having some doubts. But the holocron does appear. And so you know, as soon as we're getting to the holocron, something is about to happen.
Had a bad feeling I'd see you here.
Oh? How uncharacteristically prescient of you. Here I thought your greatest virtue was your dogged persistence as you stumbled from one debacle to the next.
Guess you made a mistake not killing me on Baraka then.
A scant mercy. I wagered one meaningless Padawan against a prize that will win me the Emperor's favor.
You think I'm gonna let you walk away with the holocron?
Of course not. We both have our pride. But yours has cost you the lives of all the Force-sensitive children on that list, as well as your own.
Like you said, Trilla, I'm persistent.
So I think the biggest takeaway from this entire conversation, for me at least, is look at the way that Cal, or hear the way that Cal is talking to Trilla. He is not backing down. He is not kind of defending himself, whatever it is. He's grown so much because he's no longer scared, and he's ready. He's not scared of what Trilla is saying. He's not scared of Trilla's threats. He is kind of like snipping back at her, which I love. And this was the moment where I was like, okay, Cal has now come full circle. He has developed as a character where now he believes in himself and he's strong enough to fight this Inquisitor.
And Trilla was really scary when we first met her.
Yes.
Because of the confidence that Cal has now, I'm not terrified of Trilla or intimidated by her. This whole conversation about being persistent reminds me of Jaro T'Pol's, or the manifestation of him, and that quote that persistence reveals the path, or would reveal the path, whatever he says there. So I'm glad that Cal, I think he recognizes that this is what Jaro was talking about, and he's owning that trait of being persistent.
Also, he kind of like confronts her relatively quickly. He's not afraid to attack her, which is really cool. It's a boss fight, but it's a little quick one. You only have to take her down a few hit points. Quickly, how did you find fighting her? Can you tell that Cal is a little different and stronger now?
I actually, because last time we had our little battle with Trilla, I did find she was faster.
Mm-hmm.
And she still is fast considering other enemies, but I found like I could handle her better. I think I'm just better now at guarding, which I was not before. And your hits do take off a little bit more off of her.
Well, after taking her down a peg, you clearly are stronger now, as we said, and you force push her away and you grab her lightsaber. The only problem is that she grabs the holocron, of course. And Cal, as he touches her lightsaber, actually starts to like shake and shiver and starts to see a darkness and gets another vision.
Don't go. We need to stick together.
No. I'm going to lure them away, and then I'm going to circle back. Stay with the younglings, Trilla. May the Force be with you.
Master, don't leave us!
Trilla, what's going to happen?
It's okay. It's okay.
Oh my god. So we finally see what happened with Trilla and Cere, I guess, through the vision of the lightsaber. This is during Order 66. And just from that cutscene, what were your initial thoughts as you saw it?
Firstly, love Cere's hair.
Yes. Yeah.
But I was liking like the throwback to like that look. Also, that youngling, adorable.
Oh, I was so heartbroken when I saw the youngling. I was so scared.
I know. Because I know he was gonna die. Well, he's probably dead. Sorry. But no, I feel like this was really rewarding. Because we're getting, like, even how Trilla talks now compared to how she talked back then, it's just different. She has a more sinister sound now because she's an Inquisitor. But she seems so comforting. Like, when she's comforting the youngling, she just seems like a normal Jedi, like a normal person, someone you could relate to. And then the pain that she went through, like the screams, and you're seeing that. The only thing is, like, I just wish I just saw more. This just opened up the lens, like just a little small peep. And I wanted to see more, like that transition to her becoming an Inquisitor. Because we know from Cere, like they tortured her and made her become an Inquisitor, But I kind of want to see more of that process, which makes me now look a little cynical.
No, I
don't want to see her being tortured, but I just want to see the progression a little bit. Because at the end, when I saw her put on the Inquisitor helmet and see her cry out, it could have just been more impactful if I had that progression.
Yeah, I think maybe we further into that cutscene, we kind of see her descent into darkness. Where we just see her get tortured, and then we see Cere's point of view of Trilla then putting on the mask. So I think if we just saw like maybe the despair that she was going through, the guilt or the anger at Cere. However, if you see this cutscene as what it is, Cere and her descent into using the dark side, which is what made her not become or stopping a Jedi, was just her using her Force power in anger. That was it. I thought it was something a lot more deep, but it really was just a rage fit that she had, and she knocked out Trilla in the meantime after seeing her put on the mask. But for me, I pointed this out in the rundown, which is should you and I, Cam, apologize to Cere?
No, we're not.
Okay.
She built this moment up too much. She did. Okay. So I now am mad at Cere for making it look like she did more. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I think that's why I think, with Cal, he'll have a better understanding or maybe empathize a little bit more with Cere because I thought she killed people.
Yeah, so did I. Or maybe she did kill those stormtroopers, but that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're stormtroopers, so whatever.
Exactly, right? Or like threw the youngling at the stormtroopers while she escaped or something like that, but she actually wasn't doing anything so bad, which also shows you how Cere may be more connected to the Force than she thinks. I think to have that remorse for even just tapping into the Force, you still cherish it, which was very telling.
Also, Trilla, who blames Cere for turning to the dark side, she basically said earlier that she abandoned us. But from what I saw from that cutscene, Cere was just trying to protect them, was like, you go on ahead, I'll deal with this. So it looked like Cere was going to sacrifice herself, but she ended up getting captured anyway.
Yeah.
So honestly, Trilla to me just sounds like a poopy head. Like that's the word that came out.
Trilla's a poopy head. Facts. I think also because Trilla has been so manipulated by the Empire.
We haven't seen any of that, like you said, right?
But usually that's what happens. Like you look at the track record for anyone that goes to the dark side, works with the Empire, and is given that much power, their past is manipulated to be seen as one way rather than what it actually was. And I think because Cal was holding the lightsaber, which I feel like this is also a little bit of his echo ability, like manifesting it to something new.
Oh, that's a great point.
I feel like he's able to see it for what it is.
I didn't even think about that, but yeah, his Force echo powers. Dang. Okay. Which is something that we don't see a lot of Jedi have. Maybe that'll come into play.
And it was said earlier on that he has a very rare skill.
Yes. Let's see if it comes more in handy as the rest of the game comes to a close. The Empire, of course, is now in Bogano. Cal comes back to reality to see that Trilla has escaped, of course, with the holocron, of course. So I guess we got to go after the holocron. But we do still have her lightsaber. She had fled without her lightsaber. I guess let us live, which that's nice. Didn't attack us while we were having this vision. Anyway, we have to go through countless stormtroopers, head back to the Mantis, and this is where Cal talks to Cere.
She has a holocron. I don't know where she's taking it.
I'm responsible for the path that Trilla is on. And what she does next is the cost of all of my mistakes.
Our mistakes are in the past. And it's all of our responsibility, and it's about what we do next that's important. You taught me that, Cere.
You're right. I know where she's taking it. There's a fortress where they take Jedi, where the Inquisitors come from. It's a place of torture. It's the place I escaped. I just never thought I'd be going back there.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
What did you think of this conversation between Cal and Cere? Because throughout, Cal seems like he has become so wise beyond his years in this short amount of time.
Yeah, the fact that he actually felt like he had to come back, and it would have been so simple for him to ignore, or not ignore, but not vocalize his understanding with everything that Cere and Trilla went through, because Cere's and his relationship were already mended. But I feel like, it shows so much maturity that he has as a character, and the journey that has gone on to become this just Jedi that is so in tune with everything. It really reminds me of Obi-Wan.
That's exactly what I thought in my head. Yes, 1000%.
Yeah, and maybe not to the emotional point Like Cal is still being a little bit more emotional than Obi-Wan would be here, but that understanding and vocalizing that and the maturity and the calmness he has is very different than the Cal we first saw in the game. He would have been a little bit bratty. Remember, I think I might have brought that up in the earlier episodes as well. So this is a really nice moment for Cere to hear this. I just feel like that just enhances their bond and maybe puts a little bit more faith back into her beliefs in the Force.
Ooh, wow. I was going to add something, but that was so beautifully said that I think I'm going to end it on that. She does mention that there is an Inquisitor base, which we might have heard about in a lot of Star Wars through the years. So maybe we get to see exactly what we've seen in everything else. But that's it for Bogano. After the break, we discuss Cal's journey a little bit more on AutoSave.
I'll have a Jedi with me. Neil. By the right of the Council, by the will of the Force, Cal Kestis. Rise, Jedi Knight. You are ready.
So are you.
Cal is no longer a forgotten Padawan. He is a Jedi Knight, and that just gave me chills listening to it again. But that was an incredible scene, very emotional, and also anytime the Force theme plays, always gets the goosebumps.
Same here. Like you just hear that theme and you're like, oh, I'm gonna cry. But we've been calling, I think in the past few episodes, as we saw Cal go on this journey to become a Jedi Knight, we've already been calling him a Jedi because he's been encompassing all of the things a Jedi does and a Jedi is known for. So like to have this moment where firstly, Cere is using Trilla's lightsaber, which,
yes,
you know,
which
the feels on it's weird, but also the feeling of like come full circle for Cere as well, because her greatest regret is Trilla, but then now like maybe she's come to the resolution she couldn't help Trilla, and this is manifested with being able to use her lightsaber. I feel like if she was still battling that, she wouldn't have been able to use the lightsaber. The fact that she says she has a Jedi with her, oh, that's just so powerful, I think, for Cere to say. However, Camille's regular
However,
comments now come into play. Cere has turned her back away, even though I do feel like a little bit of the Force is with her. Cere has turned her back away from being a Jedi. So does she actually have the power to then give the title of a Jedi Knight? I don't know. I think it's you're not. It's like going to, you know, like a chapel in Vegas, but it's actually not licensed to marry people. You know, like
you know what my answer is? I don't care. And you know what? You know why I don't care? Because all the Jedi are mother effing dead. Okay. True. Just do whatever the hell you want. And honestly, I do think that Cal has proven that he is a Jedi.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
The maturity that he's grown throughout this episode and also the previous ones on Dathomir and whatnot. He definitely deserves to be a Jedi Knight. So, again, I think all the rules are thrown out the window when literally 99% of Jedi are dead. That's my thing.
99.99% of them are dead. That's fair. However, you know, decades down the road, if there is a part of this knighting ceremony of Jedis, they're supposed to get like a little monumentous like token. And people are like, hey, Cal, you remember these when we got knighted? And he'll be like, no, because I didn't really get knighted by an actual Jedi. And then they'll be like, ooh, you got to go back to school, Padawan.
Well, I don't know. She said the council stuff or whatever, so I don't know. I believe all of it.
It's valid. It's legit. No, this is a touching moment. I'm just playing.
This episode has pretty much been all about Cal's growth, not only as a Jedi, but as a person. So we know how he's grown as a Jedi. But how do you see him now as a person? Because from what I've seen, Cal was very low on confidence at the start of the game. And now he has just grown and blossomed into a very confident Jedi, but also a confident person where, especially that scene with Trilla, he kind of is not afraid. He is vocal and he knows what he wants. And he knows that Trilla has a troubled past and he wants to just enforce who he is. And that's such a turn from the scared kid that we saw at the beginning.
I think he's better off now as a person. I think he's more in tune with himself. So he's able to make more sound decisions, which takes me back to those visions of him potentially being an Inquisitor. I think that's why he was so calm throughout those visions, because he knew they were just that, visions. That is not who he is. That is not what he's going to become. That is not what he plans to happen to those kids. I think that was just like another trial of the dark side trying to coerce him into potentially using the dark side as well out of anger. So I think he's sound of mind, and I think he could take on anything and anyone. And I'll say that. I'll put that out there.
We'll use that clip. Bank It producers will use that clip next episode when we see just who he faces. Anyway, it's funny to see Cere. For the longest time in this game, Cere has been trying to give more confidence to Cal. And now I kind of see it the other way around, where Cere is kind of afraid and she has her doubts, especially confronting Trilla. I think she's really afraid about that. And now it's Cal trying to give Cere confidence. I find it funny how that has kind of flipped. It goes to show how strong Cal has become and now trying to give that confidence back to Cere.
Yeah, it's like usually Cere kind of took that role of the master for Cal, but now he is kind of like the master in the sense teaching her, a former Jedi, how to find the ways of the Force again and how to build that confidence.
Now, this to me is the perfect chapter in the entirety of the game.
Mm-hmm.
We won't talk about the last chapter, which is next week, but so far, and to me, this is just such a very Star Wars chapter, and I loved every second of it, especially that end clip that we heard in segment 3. It just was the crescendo of this perfect chapter in Cal's journey.
It's been everything we've been waiting for. I think it was a good payoff, like going through all those, jumping all those hoops and, to get to this point.
I agree. But that's it for us in this episode. Do you have anything else to add before we go?
I am excited for the next episode. And that's it.
So next week, the last episode of Jedi Fallen Order that you don't want to miss, we head to the Inquisitor Fortress. And this is the epic finale of Jedi Fallen Order on AutoSave. So stay tuned. AutoSave is produced and hosted by Camille Salazar-Hadaway and myself, Nick Andrade. The show is also produced by Dylan Wilson. Gameplay and additional elements provided by Chris Seitzer. Technical production by Greg Fillion. Executive producer, Clayton Hansler. You can follow the show at AutoSave Podcast on Twitter and AutoSave Pod on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch. You can subscribe to the show wherever you're listening to it right now, and if it happens to be Apple Podcast, kindly leave us a rating and review, but only if it's good. AutoSave is a Soda original, hosted on the Soda Podcast Network.